Iran's nuclear threat potentially out there. A tough new round of negotiations got underway today, and Iran's supreme leader says he's not optimistic the talks will lead anywhere. Let's bring in our chief national security correspondent, Jim Sciutto, for the latest. Jim?
Well, you've had this good cop, bad cop regime in effect. You have the supreme leader, a firebrand, and then you have the foreign minister and the president as the charmers, really. And I mean, the fact is you do have substantive nuclear negotiations going on, and you had a successful interim nuclear deal. But right now in Vienna, as these talks continue, what you're hearing from both sides is a tamping down of expectations, U.S. officials saying that they are as likely to not reach a deal as to reach one. For what all sides call the most difficult round of nuclear talks, the mood was surprisingly light in Vienna. Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif took the unusual step of addressing the American public directly from the talks, Skyping with students at the University of Denver, which Dr. Zarif himself attended as a graduate student in the 1980s.
It is really possible to reach an agreement because of a single overriding fact, and that is we have no other option. If we want to resolve this issue, the only way to resolve it is through negotiations.
Back in Tehran, however, Iran's most powerful leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, had a very different message, disparaging not just the talks themselves, but the very idea of negotiating with the U.S.
The nuclear issue is an excuse for their hostility. Even if the nuclear issue is resolved to the satisfaction of the Americans one day, which is extremely unlikely, another issue will follow again.
U.S. officials insist that hyperbole is just pandering to a domestic Iranian audience. But the negotiators have enough substantive issues to disagree on, including the number of centrifuges Iran will be allowed to maintain, and the status of the Iraq heavy water reactor, which the West wants dismantled. Hanging over the negotiations as well, the fate of 3 Americans believed held in Iran.
I have been held here.
CIA operative Robert Levinson, Pastor Saeed Abedini, and former U.S. Marine Amir Hekmati, whose imprisonment just passed 900 days. Dan Kildee is Hekmati's congressman.
If they expect to be taken seriously, they're going to have to do some things on their own. They're going to have to take unilateral action to demonstrate their seriousness. And, of course, releasing Amir would be one very tangible way of doing that.
Another key issue in these talks, restoring trust. The West, including the U.S., insisting that Iran fess up to past lies about its nuclear program as part of any deal. They're, in effect, Wolf, asking Iran to do so in writing. You know, they've kept some nuclear facilities secret. They were only discovered by Western intelligence services. And as part of any deal to guarantee that Iran will be a good actor going forward, they want them to say, yes, in the past, we did lie. Going forward, we won't. And that's going to be a difficult thing to get them to do.
Yeah, there's an enormous amount at stake for all of us, obviously, right now. Jim Sciutto, thanks very much. Still ahead, we'll get back.